Over the past few weeks, Fallout 4 has been getting a lot of new mod releases, a lot of major mod releases that we've been waiting on. So for this video, I'm going to be going over, well, just a lot of them. A lot of these big new releases that I wouldn't say any individually are totally game-changing or transforming, but take even just 2 or 3 of these together and you could have a pretty good time in game, and I'm sure several of you will. To really convey that point, I've actually been working on a top 5 mods for Fallout 4 of 2019 video, and the past 2 weeks I've drastically changed which mods are going to be in that video because some of these mods are the top 5 of 2019. If you guys do enjoy the content, you can leave a like or subscribe. This video in particular took me 2 days to film and edit because there was just so many mods I wanted to cover in it. There's actually a few that didn't make the cut that I'm going to make a second video on in a few days. But either way, with all of that being said, starting things off, we do have the Cross Wasteland Ronin. I actually just talked about this in a recent episode of upcoming mods, and fortunately, you didn't have to wait that long because now you can download this awesome mod. So at its core, when you actually boil it down, it's just a new armor mod. But this is without a doubt probably one of the coolest armor mods we've gotten for Fallout 4 in a very long time. Like many of Nero's other mods, it's going to be a modularized armor, meaning that you can take an under armor and then there are several pieces you can apply on top of it. All of this being in the style and theme of a samurai. And if you watch any samurai movies or played any samurai video games, it probably looks pretty similar to that. Although one really important attention to detail that we do have here is this is meant to be a wasteland samurai, or as he names it, the Wasteland Ronin. The lore he provides basically describes how, following the bombs dropping, people started looking back at some ancient plans for armors to try and actually protect themselves. Eventually, some of them landed on this particular armor type, so they did make it out of the materials they had available to them at the time, and that's why it's a samurai style, but made out of fairly modern materials, and you could actually see bolts all over it. Even further, much like pretty much every other Nero mod, this also contains a ton of customization, both more overtly in the visual customization options. You could have many different textures on each of the individual armor pieces, but also Nero has this really convenient feature while trying this out. You can make it so the under armor paint job is the master, so whatever you actually convert the under armor paint job to, it'll apply to all of the other armor pieces. So you don't have to go through the 8 or 9 pieces and customize them each individually, you just have to customize one piece. But again, even outside of all these various color schemes, there also is just a lot of customization in the armor pieces themselves, which pieces of the armor will actually be present. The helmet's chest piece and mask have several different styles, so you can make them more heavier variants or more removed variants if you're going for a lighter feel. Even further, one of the really cool things about this armor set that stood out to me is you don't have to use it all together. There's some armors out there that you kind of have to use all the pieces at once or it'll kind of look weird, but this one you could definitely be sparing. While using just the chest piece, it looks like just a lighter armor, but it doesn't feel out of place or look weird at all. Even just the under armor on this one, it's a pretty cool outfit that if you're going for a samurai character, you'll probably want to use. But even that isn't all. This mod is actually also going to add in new NPCs that come wearing this new armor. These are going to be Ronin Ghouls, and they're just going to have the chest piece and some of the leg pieces. After finishing them off, you actually can loot the armor off of their bodies, but otherwise you can just craft this armor at a chemistry station in its entirety. Taking it all together, I think this is going to be a fairly subjective mod, but I think a lot of us are going to really enjoy it. It looks cool, it has pretty much all the features you would hope to see from it, and it's definitely one of those armor mods I plan to use on my character for a long time going forward. But then we have what is probably one of the most long-awaited mods, at least in recent memory, as now we do have the release of the Misriah Armory. I've been showing you work-in-progress pictures of this mod for pretty much over 2 years at this point, and now we have it, and it's definitely worth the wait. What this is going to do is add in 8 new weapons into Fallout 4. And yes, that might sound like a lot, but these aren't kind of haphazardly done. I would say out of these 8 new weapons, each could have been an individual weapon mod. Many of these feature custom sounds and animations, and every single one has a full set of customization options, many of which are very unique and actually really transform the weapon. Of course, all of these are from the Halo franchise. It's very Halo Reach inspired, so it's definitely going to use that aesthetic more so than some of the other games. And yeah, it's almost a hard mod to cover because of how much content is here. It's not like one of these weapons was kind of loosely done. Every single one has a ton of detail, so I don't want to kind of shy away from it. First and foremost, the way you could actually get access to some of these weapons are with new crafting tables added into the game. These actually are really cool. They have a custom display on them so you could see some of the various weapons, and they're broken up into various things. So you could craft the new ammo types, you could craft the weapons themselves, and actually some of the modifications, but also an armor table that will likely be used in future content, or maybe it's just thrown in. But from there, kind of going in size order, starting things off, you have the M6 PWS pistol. If you played any Halo, this probably looks familiar to you. It was actually released as a standalone mod quite a while ago, and yeah, you can customize it with the scope, and it has next to no recoil, and it's just as overpowered as it was in some of those earlier Halo games. Using this thing in Fallout 4 felt amazing. Then you do have the Halo SMG, and it's going to be a pretty typical SMG in Fallout 4. You have different scope, silencer, and other options on it. There's also a separate variant of this SMG that's almost kind of modernized or customized to actually shoot a laser instead of bullets. This thing could be pretty cool. It has its own set of customization options, so you could actually make it fire different kinds of beams, and the color does change. But switching back and forth between these two, they are pretty typical SMGs in Fallout 4, definitely featuring probably a bit more customization options than you'll find in the vanilla game, but otherwise being top tier quality as far as SMG mods go. Next up, we have the iconic M45 tactical shotgun, something that probably all of us can remember from the Halo franchise. This is going to be the Halo shotgun you know and love, featuring custom reload animations, as well as a variety of different ammo types, so you could really use it how you want it to be used, whether that be almost a sniper-esque or just explosive at a short range. Then we get into what are pretty much the two most iconic weapons from the Halo franchise. Firstly, we do see the MA5D assault rifle. This is really well done. It first just looks like the assault rifle, but even further, for this mod, we actually have a working ammo counter. You could have this pretty much be identical to how it appeared in Halo, ammo counter and all, or alternatively, through some of the various customization, you could actually trick it out with some scopes, some different extensions like a silencer, but it without a doubt is a faithful recreation to what is probably one of the most iconic weapons just in general to most of us. But then of course, going a little bit more modern, we also do have the DMR. This one's actually pretty fun because it has quite a bit more options as far as customization goes. It does feature its full burst fire beauty, as well as a variety of different scopes to choose from, all of which actually look really cool, some of them being very modern and having that custom scope overlay. But with this one, we also see other options, like different textures you can apply to it. But even further, you could change this into almost a energized DMR. It features both a visual change, and now when you actually fire it, it will have a kind of burst of electricity come out of it. And I'm kind of having to be quick and gloss over some of the features of these weapons, but it's little features like that additional attention to detail, making it feel just a little bit more integrated into Fallout 4 that made this whole weapon pack stand out to me as being awesome. Either way, moving on, we also do then have everyone's favorite sniper rifle, or the anti-material sniper rifle from Halo. The scope on this one is just as satisfying to use in Fallout as it was to use in Halo, honestly almost a little bit more satisfying. This is probably one of my favorite weapons out of the entire pack, and it is definitely a lot of fun to use. Then one that maybe not as many people will be familiar with, as it's from some of the newer Halo games, the M99 Stanchion, and I'm probably butchering that, is going to be a Gauss rifle from the series, and in Fallout 4, it is a Gauss rifle, functioning pretty similarly to other Gauss rifles. It's probably the most powerful as far as raw damage goes, and you could actually convert it to be fully automatic and just an absolute beast against enemies if you want to. But then last but certainly not least is the M319 individual grenade launcher. And yeah, it's going to be a grenade launcher. This is another one that actually got a beta release quite a while ago. It also features custom grenade types, so you could have various different kinds of explosions, including some pretty interesting ones where you can mark an enemy and then have just many grenades rain down on them. But overall, this is just an epic or awesome mod. Even if you're not a huge fan of Halo, this does have some minor levelless integration, so you could find it occasionally on other enemies, and we have so few weapon packs of this quality in Fallout 4 that I would definitely recommend giving this one a try. There's so much good content here, and I just don't have enough time to go over it in its entirety. I could probably make a 20 to 30 minute video just listing off all the various features for each individual weapon. It's one of the coolest Fallout 4 mods we've had in a very long time, and it's really just hard to deny how much quality content has come with it. So far in this video, you have an epic new armor, a ton of cool new weapons to play with. What do you need next? Something to shoot with all of that stuff. So for that, we do have the Fallout 3 / New Vegas Feral Ghouls Replacer. This is actually something you may have seen before. It's part of the larger mod Fallout 4 The Capital Wasteland project, the people remaking Fallout 3 in Fallout 4's engine. As part of that mod's production, they actually did recreate the Fallout 3 style Feral Ghouls in Fallout 4's engine, and then actually release them as has a mod that you could download, and it'll make all of the feral ghouls in Fallout 4 look like this instead of their old style. This mod in particular is a subjective choice. It's really just, do you prefer this over the traditional? But I feel like for a lot of people it's a great addition just because it changes things up. It makes the ghouls feel a bit more unique. I actually feel like these ghouls are a bit higher quality than the vanilla ones, but if you're like me and been playing Fallout 4 for almost 4 years now, you're probably just happy to see something different, and this is definitely a great way to do that. But hey, maybe that initial armor, as great as I found it to be, just wasn't for you. Maybe you want something a bit more modern, a bit more fitting into the modern landscape we find with many Fallout 4 mods. Well, with that in mind, we do have the Modern Assassin, a brand new mod by NewerMind43. This is another fairly basic armor mod in the sense that it's this armor. Do you like this armor? Well, then you'll like this mod. It without a doubt is a particularly cool armor type. You can find a plate carrier vest, as well as there's several different options as to which pieces you want to attach or not. We could have the full face mask aesthetic if you want that, or alternatively just goggles and a little bit of a lower key mask. But of course, as with many mods like this, it is also going to feature a plethora of customization options. You can change around the colors, materials, make the pants different colors or different camo types to fit with the rest of the aesthetic, and of course you can mix and match all of this to actually get some pretty unique looking styles. Even further, in some of the face masks, there's some particularly cool designs that can be placed atop them to definitely give it a very unique look compared to some of the other things out there. I personally really like this one. Maybe it's not the most lore friendly armor type, as there's really not much lore behind it at all, but definitely doesn't feel out of place considering the fact that the vast majority of weapon mods for Fallout 4 are modern. But hey, maybe you want something a little bit more Fallout, then we actually do have VAFS Redux. So maybe you think to yourself, wait, I already have VAFS installed on my game. Well, yeah, as the title suggests, this is going to be the Redux version of that mod, that featuring a ground up recreation of it. And if you're not familiar with VAFS, what it stands for is the Vault-Tec Accelerated Focus System, otherwise known as Bullet Time. This is actually made by a totally separate mod author, and one of the main reasons was he wanted to modernize this mod and fix some of the things the older version didn't do quite right. So if you use the older version of this mod and not the Redux, the new one will pretty much do all of the things it originally did, but also add on a few things. It's now actually going to have full mod configuration menu support, so you can customize everything very easily and nicely just from this menu, but there's actually also an INI to go along with it in case you don't even want to do it in game. It's implemented in a way where it actually works better with some of the other perks. You could have vans working, other mechanics that weren't necessarily working correctly. It inherently will disable VATS when installed, although this is a toggleable option. And one particularly cool one, the AP cost associated with a weapon is taken directly from that weapon, meaning that it will support all kinds of weapons, including new ones added to the game such as by modding. There are several other features that you could read up on the mod page, but to really break it down, if you're already using VAFS, this is going to be a great replacement that's a little bit more modernized, fixing some of the broken or otherwise not implemented features, and I would say just all around making this mod fit into Fallout 4 a lot better. Now that we have VAFS, we need something good to show it off with, and for that we actually do have RUTex. That's actually a relatively simple mod, but an extremely well done one that's going to appeal to a lot of people. At the end of the day, it is just a RU556 retexture, but where this mod actually stands out compared to other weapon retexture mods is in one, its comprehensiveness, as this mod will actually retexture basically every single attachment or other modification you can make to the RU556, but even further, just is a great looking retexture, meant to fit better in with the Commonwealth. As of right now, it only offers this one color, although again, it does really fit in quite well with the aesthetic you see throughout Fallout 4, and even further, you could use any mod you want with the RU556. There was definitely an attention to detail applied to all of them, and it's not even like all of the scopes have the same design on them. Some of them are actually textured differently, and just all around, it's a really cool one. The RU556 is probably the most used weapon mod for Fallout 4 because it is one of the most well done, and it's going to be a great companion mod to just get more out of that original mod. And two last mods that I did want to mention, although a bit more briefly, there are some recent Xbox ports that are going to be pretty notable. These are mods that already have been out on PC for a while, but are now just making their way over to Xbox One. The first of which, hyper relevant to this video, is going to be another port of Sierra 117 Redux. This has actually been on Xbox several times. It was originally back when that mod came out on PC, but it's been constantly getting removed. This one has been up for a few weeks now, so I would definitely recommend downloading it now in hopes that you'll actually be able to keep it. It more or less is going to add in some of the OG Halo armors. Of course, very fitting for this video with the Misriah Armory. Although being done by separate people, this is again another extremely high quality mod that you're going to want to download. I'll also have a PC link down below because it is just an awesome mod in general to have in game, as well as it features a variety of customization options and is all around a pretty great package. Outside of that, another armor mod to come out on Xbox is the Ghillie Mod Redux. This is easily, in my opinion, the best ghillie suit mod presently available for Fallout 4. It introduces a modular and very customizable ghillie suit that you can use on your character, and actually some of these are implemented into the level list, so occasionally you'll find them on enemies. But even beyond that, certain customization options that you can apply to some of the rifles in the game to make them fit in with the ghillie suit. This also gives you a passive perk to make it harder for you to detect while you're wearing this entire suit. If you or maybe one of your companions is trying to play a sniper character, this provides both visual improvements as well as actual technical improvements in game, an advantage over those trying to find you. And it's another great addition because it'll also occasionally pop up on gunners. But yeah, all in all, this is one of the longest Fallout 4 modding videos I've made in a while. As I said before, a lot of really high quality content has come out over the past few weeks and I wanted to cover most of it. I definitely didn't have time to cover everything, so there will be a second video going up in the next few days. Otherwise, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Hopefully you guys are going to go and download some of these mods. Again, we'll have links to just about everything in the description down below. And if you did enjoy, you can leave a like or subscribe. Again, a lot more Fallout 4 content coming over the next few weeks, as well as actually some other games like New Vegas and Fallout 3, and how the modding scene over there has been pretty interesting as of late. As always, again, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.